Tetravex is far from the standout title when you bring up the Best of Entertainment pack. Usually it's the heavy hitters like Chips Challenge, Jez Ball, Ski Free, or even Pipe Dream. But while edge-matching puzzle games like Tetravex seem dead simple at first, they become especially interesting when you push the idea further. There's even a variation that to this day has proved unsolvable, even with the help of computer assistance and the promise of a $2 million prize. But before that, let's just talk about plain old Tetravex, initially released in 1991 as part of the third Microsoft Entertainment Pack for Windows 3.0. It's an edge-matching game where you're given a set number of pieces that are all the same shape. The symbols on each side of each piece must be placed into the grid while matching the symbols of any pieces adjacent to them, and at no point can the pieces be rotated. If you solve the puzzle, you're rewarded with a nice big yellow smiley face, unless you solve the hardest 6x6 puzzle, and in that case you get part of the old Microsoft logo known as the Blibbit. At the minimum, Tetravex puzzles are composed of a 2x2 grid, but as you increase the grid size, the difficulty increases exponentially. Considering each piece has at least 2 possible matches, and each match has another set of matches, the complexity of something like a 6x6 Tetravex puzzle is impressive. Imagine a 9x9 puzzle though, or God forbid a 16x16. 6x6 is bad enough, forget that, and I'm not even going to go into the math saying just how many possibilities there are with these, because if I did, I'm sure I would lose the interest of most people, myself included, in an instant. But suffice to say, Tetravex and edge-matching puzzle games are deceptively challenging once you go past a certain grid size. Of course, I say challenging in referring to human players, though, because for a computer, even a 16x16 grid is a piece of cake to figure out, since it's just straight-up number crunching. So what about the variant I mentioned earlier that has never been solved, even by computers? We'll say hello to the Eternity 2 puzzle, designed by Christopher Walter Monckton and sold by Tomy UK Limited. It works using the same basic idea as Tetravex and other edge-matching puzzle games, but the changes made are downright devious. There are 256 pieces in a 16x16 grid, each of which can be rotated, with a starter piece which must be placed in the center of the board. Among these pieces you'll find a total of 22 colors, plus the gray edges, with 5 of these colors only found on border and corner pieces, and the other 17 colors appearing only on inner pieces and the sides of the borders. This design ensures that computers have an insanely hard time figuring it out, and it was made this way specifically because the first Eternity puzzle was able to be solved by using a brute force computer program, one which netted Alex Selby and Oliver Riordan a £1 million reward. So, Mr. Monckton collaborated with these two on creating the next iteration, using a similar algorithm to create a puzzle so ridiculous that by their estimation, if you used the world's most powerful computer and let it run from now until the projected end of the universe, it would probably still not even find one of the nearly 20,000 possible solutions. This is because the projected number of solutions, taking into account the configuration of the board and its multicolored pieces, comes to a staggering 3.11 times 10 to the 545th power. So, knowing this, they were pretty confident in the thing, and a $2 million prize was offered to anyone that could provide even one complete solution by the end of 2010. It was never claimed, and the puzzle remains unsolved. A consolation prize of $10,000 was rewarded to Louis Verhard for a partial solution, with 467 matching edges out of 480 in 2008. But it's estimated that for the final 13 edges to be solved anytime soon, an algorithm several orders of magnitude more efficient would be required. In short, edge-matching puzzle games are no joke, with Eternity 2 pushing the limits to absurd levels. So next time you play a game of Tetravex, why not take a step back and admire how simple it appears, while still presenting a taxing mental challenge? And perhaps breathe a sigh of relief that, even with a 6x6 grid, it's nowhere near as inhumanly difficult as it could be. Hi there! If you enjoyed this video, maybe you'd like some of my others. I've got some similar stuff here on my channel that I've made in the past that I've linked to right here in the annotations, and otherwise you can just subscribe to be notified whenever there's more stuff in the future, or check back every Monday and Friday for more LGR videos. And there's always Twitter and Facebook if you'd like to talk about whatever, as well as Patreon to support the show monetarily and get some cool rewards. Not $2 million, my apologies, but some, stuff like floppy disks that I've signed and, whatever. Not quite on the same level, but either way, thank you very much for watching.